And we're live. Welcome to episode 237 of the MailleWerX Chainmail Livestream. My name's Sean. I run MailleWerX.com, and I sit on stream here at night, bending rings, at least 3 days a week right now. Hopefully we'll get back up to 5 here pretty soon. But if you check out MailleWerX.com, you can find all the chainmail themed apparel and accessories that your heart desires. Except for this cool hat, because I don't have it posted back up yet. Anyway, how was everyone's weekend? What's going on? What are you doing? What you been up to? I traveled out of town and went to a wedding. Had a good time. There were 2 weddings going on at the hotel, and one had like 200 and some odd people at the wedding, so the hotel we were at was just packed. But the other smaller wedding I went to was lovely. It was beautiful. It was raining, and then the bride and groom said I do, and then it stopped raining, and then everyone had a good night after that. Adjust my screen here just a little bit there. So anyway, last week I tried to adjust some settings on Streamlabs, the platform I used to stream on, and I came back in tonight a little bit before stream trying to get them all figured out, but all my settings are pretty jacked up. Excuse me. There wasn't a magic undo button, and I'm not even sure that, well, I know they're not all back to normal. So if something's amiss with the stream, like, I don't know, say, yeah, on that side, say that this is much larger, sticks out farther than the photo images from the store, which doesn't stick out. That's because I didn't have time to perfect it before the stream started. So that was a load of fun trying to scramble to get that done. And I came inside, was outside talking with Renee real quick, and I came inside, and I had put my son to bed early because he'd had some behavioral issues after spending the weekend with grandma, and so he got sent to his room. He had dinner, he's fine, but I was just about to come downstairs and get everything set back up correctly because I hadn't had a chance to do it because I was out of town, and he's been in bed for like 2 hours now, and I just go check on him. I turn his night lights on, and oh, he wakes up. I'm like, buddy, I gotta get downstairs. I gotta fix this because I screwed up. But anyway, I was able to get down here. I did fix the bulk of it. Hopefully, I'm not like elongated while streaming and have a really skinny head. I suppose when I look at the review tapes, I'll figure that out later. But in the meantime, I have to manually flip back and forth between cameras, so that's what we're going to do right now. If I get to a point where I am talking while working on something and it's clear that I'm working on something, please post in the chat that I need to change my camera so that I can let you all sit and watch what I'm doing. You're back in full screen tonight. All good. Okay, good. Excellent. Yeah, I changed the screen resolution. So here's what I was trying to do. I was trying to set up an overhead view of basically so that I could make a TikTok video. And if you're on TikTok, you know that you have really, there's no like real widescreen video shot. Camera shots are all cameras being held up and down for most of it. So I was trying to capitalize on that, but I screwed up so many settings. So I need to figure out if there's a way I can make it so that all the settings I need are saved in one file, and then when I switch back to this file, all the settings are saved. So I gotta research that. So instead of just going in and screwing everything up, like you would think that there would be, right? I don't know. Maybe it's too much for me to think that. Anyway, so I'm still working on this lot of Byzantine bracelets. that I have going on, using 18 gauge 3/16 and 18 gauge 7/32, and a bunch of really cool beads. Hey Barb, how you doing? So hopefully I can finish these up now that I'm back from the weekend. I'm going to try and finish the bulk of these up over this week. And then I don't like, this is new stuff. You're doing okay? Right? This is all new stuff. The point of the stream isn't to be working on new stuff, it's to be, you know, finishing old stuff. So I want to get back to working on old stuff and using up rings I have laying around. Because who wants to watch someone make 20 different Byzantine bracelets? You know? You just got stabbed multiple times? Cats can be such a pain in the ass. Yeah, that's why I don't have one. Pointy hugs tonight. Welcome back. I've been missed. Yeah. Alright, so we got like some major weather issues coming tomorrow. So it probably means that there's not going to be any baseball. I'm going to try and stream tomorrow night. We'll see how that goes. But between baseball and archery, it's not as bad as it was while my kid was going to school. He's going to school, baseball, and archery. Or going to school and baseball. That was a lot. And I'd get home from baseball games too late. And just have too much to do after I got home to stream. So, but baseball's only a couple more weeks. I don't know if they're going to extend it, you know, any missed games or whatnot. It's like they've only had 2 games, because the rest have been like, so I'm hoping to get back to streaming 5 nights a week soon. Okay, and then what else has been going on? So I did go to a wedding this weekend. Some friends of ours were getting married, and we drove down to a venue that was, I don't know, 2 hours away. So nice little drive. We get to the venue and it's this old house, and they have a, what do you call it? Oh, that's really where I need to be, isn't it? What's going on with the music? They have a, it's like a labyrinth. We did this last time. What was it? Stations. Is this going to play something? Hang on. Account manage. No, that's not what I want. Sorry, I'm trying to reset. Yeah, here we go. Oh, what happened to the music? I refreshed it, and now it's no longer playing. That's not annoying at all. Alright, So I apologize for touching my settings. But anyway, we drive down to this venue. It's this old house. They have like this it's like the freaking maze, a plant maze, like they have in Harry Potter in the Triwizard Cup, or in the Labyrinth. It's a maze made up of bushes, right? So that was kind of cool. They had a little chapel area, but we were all outside, sitting in the rain. And we were only out there for about 20 minutes or so before the ceremony was done. And once they walked off, all the rain stopped. And we had a ton of food. So first there was like a charcuterie spread and some champagne. And then we sat down for the dinner, and it was like a 5-course meal. I did try this one that's like whipped cream on top of cookie dough with gold dust sprinkles on it, and it was so sweet that I could only take one bite. I was like, yeah, no, that's gonna give me instant blood sugar problems. Kitty cats have pointy toes, and yours have balance issues apparently. Balance issues in a cat. Alright, so the music started back up. This is, what is this? It's like it's playing 2 songs at once. Alright, so something's going on in the background of Pretzel Rock there. I don't know what. But it did. It came back and it was like playing 2 tracks at the same time. The balance issues are why you now have leaking holes in your legs. That's not good. You're not supposed to have leaking holes in your legs. I am besieged with technological attitude tonight. Yes, that is 100% correct. Yes, I prefer non-leaky legs too. Yeah, so everybody ate and drank, and then there's a little bit of dancing, and then I think we got back to the hotel about 11? 10. We got back to the hotel around 10. And we were pretty wiped out at that point, but there was, like I said, there was another wedding in town that weekend, and about 200 people came to that wedding, and so they had all brought the party back to the hotel. They were having a good time. Then we drove home today, picked up the kid on the way home, and me and Renee crashed out. We were I don't know, just driving down, hanging out for a wedding, and coming back. That was exhausting. But then later on in the afternoon, about 5 o'clock today, my kid had eaten, and he was whining, fighting, giving lip to everyone, and finally, I had to send him to his room. So he went to bed real early. And of course, right before I came down on stream, I went to go check on him. Make sure his night lights were on. And he had torn his blankets and sheets off his bed, so he was curled up on the floor on his blankets and sheets. And I just left him there. But, of course, moving around him, woke him up. And he's like, I want to get up. I'm like, no, you've been sent to bed. So I made his bed for him, and I got him tucked in, and he fell back asleep pretty quickly. So he was pretty tired, too. He'd been running around with his cousin for 2 days. Come on, there we go. So finally got a chance to sit down and catch up on all my socials and just relax for a little bit this afternoon before I came down here. So all my technological problems. Wonder if it'll work now. Let's go here. Here. I don't know. Anyway. So, what did you guys get up to this weekend? Anyone do anything fun? We are supposed to have a big storm tomorrow and then a heat wave. So it's supposed to be quite warm next week. So that's why I don't think there's going to be any baseball tomorrow, because of the weather. And then it'll finally warm up. It's only June. I don't think it's really been, I think it's been as like high as 76 outside. It's been beautiful weather. I'm not quite ready for it to go away. You got to go to another flow jam yesterday. Added a large swath of silk to your rope dart. Looks pretty damn cool and spinning nice. Spent almost the week with your puppy. Took your sister for ice cream this afternoon. Nice. On Friday, before I left for out of town, I had to take my truck into the shop. There's a blinker. The left side front and rear blinkers were blinking rapidly. Now, normally what this means to me is that there's a bulb that's about to go out, right? Pretty typical problem, you know? Did I add the wrong? I did. Wow. Pretty common issue, pretty easily solved. But I changed out the bulbs. And nothing changed. I still had blinkers blinking rapidly for no observable reason. So like I just got a crack in my windshield. First one. Haven't had that. The air conditioner motor was putting out this low rumble, and my starter had started grinding again. I just got the starter replaced not that long ago, so I don't know why it's grinding, but it's grinding whenever I start up the truck. And it's like, this is my only truck. It was my only vehicle. It's paid off. I'm not buying another one. So I'm not having no air conditioning in my truck over the summer, right? So I took it to my brother-in-law's shop, and he's got it now. And one of the settings on my dashboard was screwed up, and that was part of the reason why my air conditioning wasn't working correctly. But also, a piece of paper had fallen into the blower motor on the air conditioner, and that's what was making the low rumbly sound. So it sounds like the blower motor was fine, which is good. And then just one of the knobs that adjusts the rate at which the blower motor operates, some was just screwy with that. So I was like, perfect. And then of course he changed out the bulbs. Like I said, I had changed out the bulbs, but when he changed out the bulbs, it worked. Of course, you know, maybe it's because he's a mechanic and he's got the magic touch. I don't know. What is the average length of these? I need to add a little bit more to most of these. See that as a baseline. I don't want to make a bunch of different sizes. These are all just a little variated here and there. The heat will eventually get here, yeah. And with as cold as this place gets, I'm okay with that, you know? Alright, Barb, have a good night. Thanks for stopping in. I mean, it's been a little wet and rainy for me. More than what I would prefer. But on the really nice days, they're ridiculously nice, right? Can't install. I don't want you to install updates. Stupid computer. This computer. Oh, okay, I'm gonna have to sit down and figure out everything that's going on. It's got room for updates to be downloaded. I don't know why they can't be downloaded. I don't care either. You'd rather complain about the heat in summer than complain about the cold in winter? Rather complain about the heat in the summer than complain about cold in the winter. So you'd rather for it to be hot than to be freezing. Is that what I'm picking up? I think most people feel that way in Wisconsin. And I can't blame them. The winters here are, I mean, probably some of the most severe weather I've ever seen. Yep, when it's hot outside, you still go outside. When it's cold, you want to hibernate. Yeah, I can agree with you there. I don't blame you for that at all. You know, you go outside, get a good sweat going on. Feels good. And I don't think, I'm sure it has been over 100 here, but I don't think that, I can't think of a day when I've known that it was over 100 degrees, right? Knock on wood. So, in Idaho, we get over 100 degrees fairly often. Texas, over 100 degrees all the time. Iraq, over 100 degrees all the time. And I'm okay with it. It can be a bit miserable, but I've never been in a place that was negative 40 degrees. Only here. We usually get into the triple digits at least a few days a year. Yeah, like I said, I'm sure it's happened, but I've never been cognitively aware of it. And a few days a year is nothing, right? Idaho, or I'm sorry, down in San Antonio when I was living down there, we had over triple digits for like 90 days straight. 80% of the years I was there. Just hot and miserable outside. And that was when my dumbass was driving a black car with a black leather interior with no air conditioning around San Antonio. And I held on to that car until it died. But, you know, I swore off black cars with black leather interiors. It's a Mitsubishi Diamante, and I mean, it had air conditioning, but the heat was so oppressive that you couldn't do anything with it. Nothing like a mobile oven. Yeah. 100%. Come on. There you go. So I too would much rather have heat. All right. But you know what? It's not like, you know, it's not like it's going to matter if I have air conditioning in my vehicle or not right now, because I'm not going to be able to drive it anywhere anyway. With everything that I review, things I look at, people I listen to, right? Like, I think we're going to continue to see pain in the market, not just like the stock market, but in people's lives as well, probably for another 6 months before it starts turning around. So I think gas prices are going to continue to rise, stock market's going to continue to fall. People are going to flock into equities like gold and silver and stuff like that to try to hedge against inflation. You know, we'll see what happens. But my truck just filling it up 3/4 of a tank was $88 the other day. Something like that. Usually I can fill it up on $60, but so I don't know how much I'm going to be driving this summer. My brother's supposed to be coming home in the fall, or in the late summer. and I was going to drive back out to Idaho, largely because I don't like flying. And so I was going to drive out to Idaho again like I did in early January. I don't know if that's going to happen now. I don't know if there'll be a huge difference between plane tickets and gas prices at that point, so I might have to get plane tickets here pretty soon. So I'm not going to not see my brother. Your Honda has a 13-gallon tank, put 50 bucks in there last time you gassed up. Man, you drive a tiny Chevy Spark. The Watcher Knight from Twitch. Hi, how you doing? Tiny Chevy Spark is about 30 fill up, and now that gets 300 miles. It's 7 years old. You're considering fully electric for future cars to avoid this issue entirely, since electricity has less cost fluctuations. What have I done here? What is going on? Oh, I see what happened. I have to take this apart. This is not keeping that bead in place, so that's not good. Well, I don't know where you're at, but here in Wisconsin, our electricity is derived largely from natural gas. And so well, at least the company I get electricity from, our electricity prices fluctuate significantly. It all depends on your infrastructure, I assume. So I'm of the opinion that electric cars they're going to continue to be more like toys for people who can afford them, rather than a viable solution to any economic issues we've got going on. Maybe in the future there's possibility that they'll be cheap, affordable enough, and functional enough that people can use them, but between the chip shortage and the price holding back the number of cars available, right, I think it's going to be incredibly difficult. But in the future, if you can avoid, you have a knowledge of what, your rates are going to be. That's definitely helpful in budgeting and how you want to manage your household. Ford just dropped cost by $6,000 on production, so wouldn't be surprised if we start seeing lots of electric cars new around the 20,000 mark. I hope so. Yeah, what was it? The new Ford Lightning truck that's coming out. So I think this was a dealer in Illinois. I'd have to go reread the article, but they had a Ford Lightning, and I don't think that they had done anything significant to it. You know how dealerships are. Oh, we added pinstriping. Oh, we added an alarm. That's $5,000 more for this vehicle. So I don't think this dealer had done anything in particular to the car, but they raised the price like 150%. So it was a $65,000 vehicle was now like $150,000. So what they had it listed for on their website. Let's see if I can get this to work. So yeah, I don't, let's see here. Vehicle market now is insane anyway because of supply chain issues. 100%. Yeah, a lot of crazy stuff going on. And like I was saying just a little bit ago, I think that another 6 months before we start seeing things come back. Utilities actually went down this last 9 months. You no longer have a second person living here. Control of the thermostat was a huge savings for you. Yep, controlling that thermostat. Yeah, but honestly, having lived through the '08 crash, this is worse or close to worse, and it's only 6 to 8 months before these get better on it. Okay. Honestly, having lived through the '08 crash, okay, if this is the worst or close to the worst, and if it's only 6 to 8 months before things get better, honestly, it could exponentially be a lot worse. And I don't think the turnaround's going to be dependent on anything that the officials do. I think it's largely people going, choosing to stop their purchasing, choosing to change how they're budgeting, right? And so I think that's going to be the major factor in turning this around. Because you could have things like, I don't know, the U.S. dollar losing world reserve currency status, global economic collapse, food shortages that are worldwide and not just isolated to certain areas. It definitely could be a lot worse. So another 6 to 8 months. He was also allergic to the offsetting on a light switch. Oh, oof. Allergic to the offsetting on a light switch. That's no good. I have a son with that disorder. Yeah, I run 2 machines here 24/7, and so that contributes to my power bill. But I've had my air off all month, so I've already cut out most things aside from necessities for the most part. I'm really lucky that you get WFH 100%, at least for now, so I'm saving a lot since you're not driving 2 hours a day anymore. What is WFH? If you don't mind me asking. I should probably open this ring before I try and weave it into place. That was weird. Work from home. Yeah, okay. I probably could have put that together had I, put more than 2 seconds thought into it, but I too work from home. Oh, music's gone again. Yeah, I think the work from home economy was one of the great things that, I know so many people who left really shitty jobs over the last couple years during all the stuff going on and finding other ways of making money. And I don't know if they cut back their lifestyle or what changes they made to their livelihoods in order to keep going. But so many of them are like, I'm never going back to working fast food. I'm never going back to working retail. I'm going to, figure out something else. And it's funny to watch those same companies. They're like, oh, we're hurting for employees. We're hurting for employees. We can't get anybody to come back to work. I'm like, nobody wants to come and work for you if you're going to treat them like shit all the time. It's alright, you're definitely concentrating on something that requires attention. Yeah, it's definitely difficult to carry on a conversation in general, and much less try to figure out acronyms, so thank you for clarifying. Yes, but your paycheck kind of sucks right now. My paycheck does kind of suck right now. That won't always be the case. Yeah, as crappy as 2022 has been for various reasons, the changes to remote work culture has really improved work-life balance for a lot of your friends. Yeah. Yep. I mean, it was just like we've been stuck in this. Everybody's got to work, they got to be out of the house. They got to send their kids to daycare, kids to public school, or whatever. And then all these companies either went under or fired a lot of employees, or people left because of better working conditions somewhere else, and people are finding a happiness in staying home and watching their kids, or doing DoorDash, or what other part of the gig economy they've got going for them. And I know it didn't work out for everybody. A lot of people were hurt, and in economic downturns, right? Like, economic downturns are deadly. So don't let me come across as making light of this situation, right? I just think that there's silver linings, is all. Like, I worked at fast food for a little while. I worked in restaurants for a little while, and my life wasn't going anywhere. This was 25 years ago. 20 years ago, something like that. And after, working my tail off, and I wasn't getting anywhere, I was like, I don't know how people do this. And that was 20 years ago. Hey, Greg, how you doing? Road America for Indy cars? Nice. Human resources at your company has literally fought against your CEO because we've lost hundreds of people because ownership kept trying to push everyone back to office. Yeah. And why? Because it seems like... Okay, so for a lot of companies that are able to have work from home employees, right? Like, are they stuck in the building that they're in with the lease, and so they need to make the most of the situation by having people come in? Like, they don't want to hold on to a property if no one's going to be there. Are they simply managerial tyrants who want to control people's lives? Right? Why? If you can have employees work from home, why pay for the building at all? Right? Now, if it's legitimately a case of, oh, we are losing revenue because of people working from home, then okay, I could see wanting to bring people back in. Right? I could see the case for that being made. But if you just want to bring people back into the office so that you can waste their lives commuting back and forth and sitting in meetings for hours at a time, yeah, no. So, the true question there is why. Yeah, you have no idea. We've had the most productive year in 21 because employees were much happier. We have some employees that have to be on site for physical reasons, but in IT, of course, accounting, other corporate level employees, no one has to be on site for the most part. Yeah. See, I mean, it makes sense. Just like downsize the building you're in, minimize the number of staff you have to have on site as much as possible, and let everyone else work from home. And I understand that cannot work for everyone. It's not ideal for every situation, but some of the companies that have come back and said, oh yeah, we're bringing our employees back to the office. It's just like, that doesn't make any sense whatsoever. It just sounds like, oh, you're a control freak and I don't want to work for you. Come on. There we go. All right. Is this going to work? Yeah, it kind of works. Kind of works pretty well, actually. Oh. It was my last job. I drove for my last job. And it was nice, because I would drive to my patients' houses, take care of them, and move on to my next patient's house. But I didn't go into an office but once in a while. And no one ever really bothered me. I went out, I did my work. If they needed a correction made, I would correct it. And otherwise I'd just try to get my work done as best as possible. But it was super ideal for me to pick up my kid from school, drop him off. On days when he was sick, I could adjust my own schedule, and it was great. I suggested rotating our user-facing IT to 2 people per week to make sure hardware issues are repaired. I want people to come in if they need help, rather than 5 people every day of the week like they used to. Yeah. You got 5 people coming in every day of the week when 2 people can do, something doesn't add up. That's all I'm saying. I don't understand the incentive. And especially right now, and this is, okay. There's this idea that workers have to go into work in an office, whatever, and that's the only way they can be effective. But in today's economy, life's not really like that. That's not really how things work anymore, and especially with millennials like me coming up. If you're just going to waste our time and dick us around, we're not going to work for you. And I don't blame them one bit. Okay? Because there's no pension plan. There's no benefit for people my age to bust their ass for their employers anymore and work there for 30, 40 years because there's no benefits. Because they're user-facing, we're also Tier 1 corporate support for your local site technicians, so they would take calls and do tickets. So you need all the people, but we just didn't need all of the office. Yeah. Excuse me. Okay, I mean, that makes sense, but if you can reduce it down to 2 for on-site hardware repair, I think that's what you said, right? Yeah, so... So it takes me back to this question I've had about public schools for a long time, right? I pay a lot of property taxes, and they're supposed to go to the schools in the area, and I want absolutely nothing to do with supporting these schools in any manner whatsoever, but I have to pay regardless of what I want, for these really old buildings, for kids to go in and get bullied and get served under nutritious food, and for some of these kids to be murdered. And I find that your typical public school is one of the most toxic places in a kid's environment. And I really, I have no interest in supporting them, right? So I've often suggested, I've posited the idea that perhaps we can do away with this notion that kids need to go to a building in order to go to school. Okay? And if you want to have a type of public education, you build up the infrastructure for it so that kids can do stuff when they're at home or when they're in daycare or on their own timeline or whatever as they get older. Now, I'm sure that kids in kindergarten, first, second, third grade, okay, maybe you can make the argument that they need to go, right? But high school was a waste of time for me, and I'd hate to see someone else have to waste their time in high school when they could get their work done from home, and then they can move on to other things. In my theory, you have zero children pay private tax for schools they see no direct benefit from. You'd rather pay for kids to be educated. It does need to change somehow. I don't see why in the age of the internet there's this strict adherence to paying for these buildings. There's a scalability to education that comes with the internet, right? One teacher can have hundreds of thousands of students, and there are many teachers like that out there, and they're on Udemy, they're on YouTube, they're on whatever, insert your educational website of choice here, right? They exist. It does happen. There's some social aspect kids needs, since it does teach how to interact with others, but yeah, there are better ways. And I'm not saying keep the kid locked up at home and don't ever let them go out and socialize with other kids, but I've never been bullied on a playground. I was bullied in school. I've never been bullied anywhere in my life other than school. And maybe that's just my experience. I don't know. But I don't think that it's just me. And these are just thoughts of mine. I think that you could read a little John Taylor Gatto and come up with some really good ideas about how to move forward with education without adhering to a system that I don't believe works on any real level. Right? So maybe that's, we've always worked in this building, so our employees have to come back and work here. Maybe that's the mentality. Or maybe, we've always had kids in school, so, we need to keep them there. Internet bullying is absolutely a thing too, but just like anything, there's a lot of possible nuance to any situation. Problem with our education. Internet bullying, does internet bullying exist outside of social media? I don't disagree that it's not a thing. I agree that it's absolutely a thing. My problem with our education is they teach kids to take tests. They don't teach kids to think critically. Yes, that is 100% the case. They don't teach creative problem solving, and they don't ready kids for the actual world. Yeah, no. Nothing that I learned in my public or private education was ever applicable to things I needed to know in the real world today. Outside of being able to read. Social media, games, communication apps, yeah, okay. No, there's definitely a concern for that. Right. And I think that's something that's easily what did I do there? Oh no, that's correct. Okay. I think that's something that's easily mitigated. Or could be easily mitigated. Right? For example, when it comes to let's just say social media. When it comes to social media, right? and all the bots and fake accounts and internet trolls, right? There has to be a way to raise the cost of participation on individuals who want to engage in those behaviors, right? So, social media platforms are ever fluctuating. But let's say, I don't know, you pay $20 to get verified as a certain person, right? And if you're not verified, then you don't get a lot of the benefits that the social media platforms offer, okay? And if you are not verified and you engage in these behaviors, you can get kicked off the platform, but you just come back, right? And you get kicked off, and you just come back, and you get kicked off, and yada, so on and so forth. Whereas people who are verified won't engage in that behavior, because if they get kicked off, right, they lose their money that they put, their $20 that they put into getting verified. So you want to incentivize them to not misbehave on a platform like that, right? I'm not saying that would work. I'm not saying that that's a perfect solution. I'm just saying you raise the cost of participation and you're going to see results in behavior changes. I think that's, I don't know, I'm not a social media psychologist, but it seems to me that if people have skin in the game, they're less likely to engage in being shitty to humanity. Yeah, with the next door app you use, neighborhood homeowners communicating requires verification, and basically it prevents someone from misbehaving too badly because there's less anonymity since people know your name and address. Yeah. Get out of here, bug. Where are we at here? We're at an hour. All that for an hour. All right, guys. Well, in regards to tomorrow, we'll see what happens with the weather. I might be able to get back on tomorrow night. We'll see how that goes. In the meantime, I'm going to try and finish up this bracelet list I have going here so that, no, I got to click over to it. So that we can move on to the stuff I'm supposed to be working on. People are less willing to be jerks when they know there could be consequences. Yeah, it's like if you want to be an unmitigated, unstoppable, trolling force of internet nature, 4chan exists. Have fun. Don't let me stop you from living your life, right? But there definitely needs to be a way to beyond like blocking. Oh wow, did I really just do that? Boy howdy, yes I did. Well, okay. I just put a bunch of 18 gauge 3/16 rings in the 18 gauge 7/32 bag because I'm a smart man. Yeah. Oh, thanks for the follow. Thank you for the follow. The Watcher Knight. Do appreciate it. Don't put those rings in the wrong bag. Glad you dropped in. Try to capture in the future. Thanks for commenting. Absolutely. Thanks for stopping by and appreciate all your commentary. I am live on Facebook and YouTube as well if you want to hang out with other people. I don't get too many people on Twitch, but every now and then someone pops in. All right. So be sure to check out MailleWerX.com, where you can find all the chainmail themed apparel and accessories that your heart desires. Don't forget to download the MailleWerX app. Join our mailing list. I will have more deals for stuff coming soon. And I know I've been saying it for almost a year now. I will have more designs up coming soon. So, for all of you, thank you for participating. I do appreciate all of you being here and all of your commentary. And I look forward to talking with you all later.